Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, James.
And good morning, everybody. As always, hopefully you are all having a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week whenever it is that you are listening. Here we are again on Sunday morning.
Once more,
episode 83.
Wow.
It really is a wow. They have gone so quickly.
Scary how quickly time goes, isn't it, really?
Time flies when you are enjoying yourself.
It does.
So they say.
So they say.
Brilliant. Are you happy to begin this morning?
Yes, I am.
Great. Where would you like to start this morning?
In a way, I think we're covering a couple of topics. I'd like to talk about friendship.
Okay, yeah.
Because I do think friendship is important.
Yes.
And it's something that should be valued.
I agree, yes. Absolutely agree.
So, myself, I've never had lots and lots of friends.
Okay.
Growing up,
Yeah,
I've had lots of acquaintances,
yeah.
but I've not had lots of friends. Even when I started school, I've had one friend from starting school up to her dying.
Right.
And that one friend, obviously, we had other friends that came in, not friends, other acquaintances, even through school. And I was brought up in pubs.
Yes.
So I had lots of acquaintances who wanted to see what inside a pub was like.
Yeah, you have mentioned.
So
Yeah.
yes, as I've
You
said
were very
before,
popular for where you lived.
Yes.
Or because of where you lived.
Yes, but my friendship was very important, and maybe at the time we didn't realise.
So you had one true friend.
Yes.
All the way through, from
All the way through.
starting school,
Yes.
all the way through.
Yeah, and I do have friends since.
Yes.
In adulthood.
Yes, I know.
I'm talking
yes.
about one particular friend.
Yes, from your youth.
Yes, from starting school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd like to talk about her really because
Okay.
this one friend, and I think many of you listening will have a friend who you've grown up with and may have started school with.
Yes.
Gone through your teenage years, met your husbands, had your children.
Yeah.
And that one friend has been part of all of that.
Yeah. Someone very, very special
Yes.
and important.
But the friend who you have from school knows you, or Barbara knows myself, or knew myself better than more than anybody else ever would.
Yeah.
Because she knew everything that I'd done in life that I should be doing or shouldn't be doing. You know, meeting my husband, she was there when I first saw him, having the children, her having her children.
Yeah.
And going through the traumas of life. And I remember her saying to me once when something had happened in my life and with my daughters, and she said to me, "Anne, I wouldn't like to have your life."
Okay.
And I said to her, "Why?" Because my life to me has always been wonderful, including the traumas.
Yeah.
So she said, because everything you do, and this was in our teens, everything you do goes wrong before it goes right.
To be honest, Anne, that is so true for you. It really is. In the best possible way.
Yes.
It is true.
So she said, "I wouldn't like to have your life." And then as we had our children and our children started to grow, we went through the traumas of, having the children, bringing the children up. And with her, one particular really, really awful trauma, which that one I'm not going to talk about.
Okay.
But I'd like to talk about one of the traumas because I think it affects a lot of parents these days.
Right.
And it's about alcohol and drugs.
Okay.
And I think in society today, I see a lot of parents, even with young children, who are struggling with this, with vaping and things.
And alcohol and particularly
alcohol,
drugs as well.
Yeah, and
yes.
drugs, and particularly drugs.
Okay.
And she had two sons, and one son, her younger one, went down this path. Absolutely lovely, lovely boy growing up. Lovely boy growing up.
Right.
And then started drinking and got into the wrong crowd. I don't know about drugs, but I do know he was an alcoholic.
So was that when he was a teenager?
Yes, when he was a teenager.
Okay.
Older than a teenager. He started as a teenager.
Yeah.
But he probably would have been in his 20s when it became really bad.
Okay.
And she tried everything like all parents do to get him to stop.
Yeah.
Shouting at him, crying, everything.
Yeah.
Until one particular instance, his dad said, "I don't want him anymore. He's not staying here."
So he was living with them?
He was living with them, yeah. He wasn't married.
Okay.
And he said, I don't want him here. He's got to go. And he threw him out. And this boy went, and the reason I'm saying this is because I think my friend was one of the bravest people I know.
Yeah.
Because he threw him out and he went onto the streets, and he was on the streets in the area that they lived.
Wow. So was your friend the mother?
The mother, yes.
Okay.
So when she went out shopping, she had to pass him, sat on the street outside.
So he was now living on the streets?
Living on the streets.
Wow.
Snow, rain.
Okay.
He was there. And she had to go past him. And sometimes she would give him money, obviously. She's his mum.
Okay.
Sometimes she'd take food.
Yeah.
And then I remember one particular winter when it was snowing and it was so cold. And she rang me up and said, Annie's come to the house. So I said, what are you going to do? So she said, I've put him in the garage because I daren't let him over the doorstep because his dad will go mad.
Yeah.
So she'd put him in the garage just to be warm for a little bit. And then he had to go before his dad came home from work. And his dad had his own business. And they were into he's had a garage and this boy was an absolutely wonderful mechanic.
Right. Wow, okay.
And he'd done his apprenticeship, but didn't do his apprenticeship with his dad.
Yeah.
Did it with somebody else.
Okay.
Because his dad said, you're not doing it with me, you'll take the mickey.
Yeah.
And he did his apprenticeship with somebody else. Then he went working for his dad, which is one of the reasons it blew up with his dad.
Okay. So he obviously was talented.
Oh, unbelievable. Not only talented, a lovely person.
Yeah.
And this is what I'd like to get over. Sometimes we shouldn't condemn, because the personality of the person doesn't mean to say because they're on the streets and that they're not a good person inside.
But had got wrapped up in drink and drugs.
Absolutely.
And all of that world.
And the same thing as they do, taking money, robbing mum, robbing grandmas and things like that.
So it escalates.
It escalates, yes. So for 2 years he was on these streets, 2 whole years.
Yeah.
And then another winter.
So that must have been really difficult for your best friend.
It was
as the
difficult
mother,
for her. Absolutely,
knowing that he was out there.
Absolutely, because all the neighbours knew him as well. Remember, and people were condemning her for doing it and for walking past him.
So it must have taken an enormous amount of courage to hold to that decision for the father as well.
Unbelievable courage. That's why I admired her.
Whether
so
people
much.
agree or disagree, it takes an enormous amount of courage to make such a decision and carry it through.
Yes.
Wow.
So one day in the winter, middle of winter, he sat on the floor because he sat on the floor, and somebody comes round and gives it and goes to put some money down for him and looked at him and said his name. I won't say his name because people may know him.
Okay.
And said his name.
Yeah.
And he looked up, and it was the person who he'd done his apprenticeship with.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Who had, by this time, had 2 or 3 garages.
Okay. So life had brought them back together.
Yes. And he said to him, what's happened? What are you doing here? And he explained to him what had happened, and he knew his dad and he knew his mum, and he said to him, right, I've got an ultimatum for you. If I will take you now, I've got flats.
Yeah.
This man had done very well for himself.
Yeah.
And I'll put you in one of my flats.
Okay.
On one condition.
Yeah.
That you stop now. This moment, you stop.
The drink, the drugs,
everything.
the
You
crime,
stop
everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
You stop everything now. And I will give you a job.
Okay.
I know how good you are. You won't have lost your skills. I'll give you a job. But you must not. You have one, he said, you're out of a job and you're back on the streets.
Yeah.
And he took him and put him in this flat. And my friend always said that was her guardian angel.
Oh, that's lovely.
So what I'm trying to say is as hard as it was, and I still think she's one of the bravest people I know, that took a toll on her.
Absolutely, yes. It would
because her health deteriorated.
Yeah.
Father had a stroke, later in life this is.
Yeah.
His father had a stroke he looked after him.
The one who had been on the
day,
streets.
Every day
Yeah.
he went in and looked after her.
So it showed his true nature.
And made sure that Barbara was all right.
Yeah.
And Barbara couldn't breathe. She had to have oxygen in a house. And she walked around the house with a tube attached to an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And it went into the bedrooms, to the bathrooms, to toilets, everywhere. She couldn't be without it.
So permanently on.
Permanently on it.
Right. Wow.
And he looked after her.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I'm saying.
So that intervention really was the making of him.
It was the making of him. And how much trauma, and why I'm saying this is the trauma that we go through when we have to make decisions like this.
Yeah.
And I haven't, my family have had to make decisions like this in their families.
Yeah.
But it brought back the beautiful boy.
Yeah. So he went on to become a mechanic working for this gentleman.
He worked as a mechanic for him.
Yeah.
And then at the end of her life,
Yeah.
he became a carer for her.
For her. Wow.
Because she had to have permanent care.
Yeah.
And he was that for her. Met a girl, fell in love.
Wow.
And that's why the reason I'm saying it is because it's important, because sometimes people think when we're saying we should try and make decisions for the greater good of them,
Yeah.
that we're being harsh, or I'm being harsh, because I can say that. I'm not saying I am being harsh, but I'm not, because I've seen it, and I'd like people to try and understand that we can give that person a lifeline then.
Yeah. I agree with you. I was going to say, we will never know for sure, but would that young man have gone on to redeem himself and get himself back to himself and live a life if he wasn't kicked out?
No.
Would he have continued on the path he was already on unless he had that shock? That's hypothetical and we won't know. We also don't know if that gentleman who was successful and had the flat and the businesses, if he hadn't come along on that day, would somebody else have come along, or would that young man still be sat on the streets? So the intervention to be kicked out and then the intervention to be welcomed back in when the time was right, maybe both of those were necessary. Maybe. We will never know for certain. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's a very touching story.
It's the dilemma.
And how we choose to see it. But for me, and I hope all of you listening as well, it is life-affirming as well.
Yes.
Because the answers are not clear at any point in that story. And people will have opinions. Even now listening, people have their own opinions and biases, completely understandably. But human courage and human relationship and life, love and relationship, life. And in the end, the kindness of that gentleman and the bond of love between the parents and the child, it overrid it all. It shone through. And therefore, at the end, that love was alive in action when they needed him. And they were there for him when he needed them by stepping back.
Yes.
I mean, that's deep, very deep. Well, so thank you for sharing that, Anne.
It's a pleasure.
And I imagine, no, I don't imagine, I know, you will have been such a wonderful friend to your best friend through all of this and everything else, because I am extremely blessed and fortunate to know you. So I know what a wonderful, truly strong impact you will have been on her continuously.
Yes.
You really are such a tower of strength. You really, really are. And I have no doubt whatsoever that she drew upon your strength and wisdom and comfort and humour many, many times. Yes. I have no doubt about that at all.
I did on hers as well, though.
Well, that's friendship.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah, it was both. It went both ways. It definitely went both ways. Because she saw me through many of my traumas as well.
And that's wonderful that you were there for each other. And
that
is a truly wonderful thing.
Yes. And I think friendship is important, isn't it?
I feel, I mean, this is such an important topic at the moment. I mean, there are so many things happening in the world, and we do talk about them, and we will address them again. I mean, everything that's happening, current affairs, geopolitics, money, artificial intelligence, war, rumours of wars, democracy, everything, absolutely everything, the environment, everything. But friendships are part of all of this. And the absence of friendships are a part of all of this as well. The friends that we make in life, I feel, quite often, if not always, are the most important relationships in our lives, because they're the people that we choose. They're the people that we let in, and they're the people that we confide in. And a true friendship can be deeper than any other relationship. It can be. I'm not saying it always is. That doesn't mean that you can't have that friendship bond with your lover, with your husband or your wife. And isn't it wonderful if you are married and your husband or wife, I should say, is your friend as well, a really good friend. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I hope that's true for everybody who's married. I really do. Or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or it could be your sibling, it could be sisters or a brother and sister.
Yes.
It could be another family member. So friendships aren't exclusive in and of themselves. Friendship is such an important bond that it runs through all other relationships. It could be somebody that you work with. It could be a teacher. It could be, like in your case, somebody that you meet whilst at school or university or training of some kind. And the bond of friendship in the human context is the strongest. It really is. It quite often, and I've experienced this as well, and I'm sure, I know you have as well, Anne, and I'm sure all of you listening, that bond of friendship can be forged with an animal.
Oh, yes.
The friendship of a dog, and again, dogs are a continuous theme that we often talk about and return to. But the friendship of a dog, I mean, that's something else as well. That really is its own category of love. It really, really is. So friendship is so universal that it crosses faith, it crosses culture, it crosses language, and it crosses species, animal, human. It crosses gender, it crosses time. You can speak about your friendships from the past and you can make a new friend tomorrow. It's all possible.
Yes.
Friendship really is, in the human context, so sacred, so special. And often, pretty much always, it's not having 1,000 friends. It's having one true friend, or 1, 2, 3, or a close-knit group. It doesn't mean that you're insular or that you aren't gregarious and outgoing and socialise with other people, but truly someone who you can truly confide in, who will be there for you when you are at your lowest and will stand by you through trauma, as far as you contextualise it, the most difficult times in our lives, and they can celebrate for us and they can be happy for us and they can encourage us and they can love us and we can love them. I mean, friendship really is precious, and in the human experience we need to remember that. And I hope all of you listening have a friend, have friends who you truly cherish, and you can fill your heart with their words, and the memories and the warmth just spills out, and it really gives you a sense of love and belonging and a real sense of humanity. Because, like said at the start of this, I don't know what it is in terms of reflection,
Yes.
sort of an elongated reflection. There is so much happening in the world at the moment, and we need to anchor ourselves. And quite often we're not sure if the information we are receiving is correct, whether it's even truthful. We're not sure who we can trust. We're not sure which way things are going. There's so much uncertainty, and the unknown is scary. But we know how we feel, and we know who our friends are, and we can anchor ourselves to that, and we can trust that if we have true bonds of true love and friendship in our lives. And come what may, that's what truly matters. That's what's truly of importance. That's what true wealth is. That's what true belonging is. And I sincerely hope you all listening have that, or you have had that in your lives, because it gives you such nourishment, such joy, and the optimism that tomorrow it can come again. Many of you will call your dog and it will come bounding down the stairs, or not, and it will give you joy. Or you return home from work or going out to the shops and your dog will be waiting for you at the window. Or your friend will give you a call just when you need it. Or it could be an arm round the shoulder or a hug. It could be your spouse, it could be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your brother or your sister. It doesn't matter in terms of the particular framing of the context, but that friendship of truly caring about each other is so human, so important, and we must protect it, we must celebrate it, we must share it, we must honour it, and we must grow it. And we can do that this morning, and you've done that this morning, Anne. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
As you're talking, though,
it's wonderful, it really is.
As you're talking, it's made me, I'm thinking about with Henry, the dog, our dog, of course, is that it doesn't have to be words, does it? It doesn't have to be speaking. It's just, it's feeling more than anything else. But with Barbara and myself, I got married before her. I met my husband very young.
Yes.
I was only 18 when I got married.
Yeah.
And then she got married after me. But the bond was also between our husbands.
Oh,
and we
lovely.
Used to go on holiday together.
Yeah.
And then we had our children. We both had 2 children, and we'd go away.
So you could live life together in a way.
We lived like
you go on adventures together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I can remember we went to Robin Hood's camp.
Right.
And Barbara was pregnant.
Okay.
She hadn't had her. She was pregnant with her first one.
Okay.
And why I'm saying this can expand into something else is that her husband, John, was a man's man.
Yeah.
Really, a proper man's man.
Yeah.
And Jim had got a fissure on the anus, which is very, very painful. And he's had to go into hospital and have this fissure sutured and it had to be dressed, this fissure on the anus.
Was this while you were away?
While we were away.
Oh, no.
And it had to be.
Right, okay.
It had to be dressed every day.
Ouch.
And John did it every day, not me.
Yeah.
John dressed it because Jim was embarrassed about it where it was.
Yeah.
And John did it for him every day.
Friendship.
So the friendship became 2 couples together.
Yeah.
And then you extend it. And this is how it's got to be with communities, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's making me, what you've just said is making me understand that our aim is to build the communities. But the communities have to be with friendship.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, I agree, because we can reach out to each other in the spirit of friendship across communities.
Yes.
Like I said, across language, culture, geography, across faith, across our world. And remind ourselves this morning and moving forward, there is one community, the human community.
Yes.
And we share our lives together. And we share our planet together. And despite our disagreements at times, in the spirit of friendship, there is a glue that can hold us together if we connect to it. And that spirit runs deep. It runs to the very core of what it means to be human. Also, which I think is extremely interesting and true, is that friendships often are forged in really difficult times, which is what you alluded to in terms of traumas and such. So the people that we bond with and people that we truly trust are often people that we have met or people we go through times with that are extremely challenging. Not always, but often. And we see more of them, and they see more of us. And it's the parts that we hide that become exposed, and the parts that they hide that become exposed. And we don't necessarily like it. We don't like showing ourselves in that context, and we don't like what we see in other people in certain situations. But it brings forth patience and understanding and forgiveness, human qualities, divine qualities, that a friendship can't exist without. And it's not a trust that nothing will go wrong. It's the trust that friendship will endure when things do go wrong. It's the trust that when somebody makes a mistake or makes an unwise decision or maybe does something out of frustration or anger or silliness or temptation, who knows, that true friendship can endure a lot, almost anything. And the trust in that is so comforting, so strengthening. It's such a rock that we can build our lives around. And it's not something that children are really spoken to about. It's not something that we are consciously building our lives around. We are, as a society, engaging with children about money and jobs and choice, which are important, where you live, education, all of these things are important. But it's very rare that friendship is spoken to children about. I mean, really deep friendship, and about building a life around people that you can trust, and that the absolute rocks in our lives that give us strength, and we give them strength. And that's so important. It's so important. And I truly, truly hope that you all understand and feel what we both, Anne,
Yes.
are talking about this morning, all of you listening. I truly hope that you have a sense of it in your lives. And I wish for more of that for you. And if you are maybe reflecting upon a sad time or a friend that has passed, I hope you can draw comfort from knowing that you had such love in your life. And that friendship lives on. It lives on in your memories, it lives on in the life lessons, and it lives on in the choices that we make today. And the friends that we will meet tomorrow as well. And the new friendships that we will forge, which is exciting. And life and on, life and on, life and on.
Also with, I think the other thing that is making me think is that with a true friend, and I mean a true friend,
Yeah.
is the friend who can look at you in the eye and say, you're out of order.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And you take it from them.
Yeah.
But you know they're still your friend.
Yeah.
They don't like what you're doing and they'll talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And if the world was like that, wouldn't it be wonderful? That we could just say to each other, that isn't right, what you're doing isn't right.
Yeah. And then with us as well.
And with us, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
yeah. We need that sometimes. We all do. We all need that. You and I included, we all need that. We need people that will be straight and people that we can trust.
Yes. My daughter's retired this week.
Okay, yeah.
My youngest one.
Wow, that's an odd thought.
And
Wow.
she's all her life from her first going to school and having friends.
Yeah.
She's always said she has no friends. If she's having a party, she's no friends. Even up to her 21st, nobody will come. And she gets worked up about it. She truly gets worked up that nobody will come to my party. So she's leaving work after 24 and a half years.
Yeah.
And she said, I said, is nobody going to come? Nobody going to say bye? So I said, she's still got no friends. So she said, oh, I don't think anybody will bother. I'll just leave work. And I rang her up on the day, yesterday. I rang her up because yesterday was the official day.
Yeah.
And she said 23 people turned up.
Oh, wow.
For somebody who has no... So it shows you what we do to ourselves as well, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But the thing is that and she was also saying to me, and I think this is another important point, that 24 and a half years she's been at Piccadilly Station,
Yeah.
working there, going to it, and she does shifts. So sometimes she's going in at 2:00 in the morning
Yeah.
and starting a shift. Sometimes 12:00 at night, and sometimes doing a half day, an evening.
Yeah.
They're awful shifts that she's always been doing. And she said to me yesterday, "I've never once been late
Yeah.
in all those years, and I'm going to be the day before. She said, I'm going to be late tomorrow.
Right. Last day.
I'm going to be a rebel.
Yeah.
I'm going to be late on my last day." And she told them.
Yeah.
She told everybody in work she was going to be late.
Right.
And they can book in at work on the train while they're on the train going in. And she booked in. And when she got to work, one of the men at the station said to her, "Oh, Jill, you're leaving today, aren't you?" So she said, "Yes. And I'm being a rebel, I'm late." So he said, what time did you book in, Jill?" She'd have booked in on the train at something 59. He said, "Well, you were early, a minute early."
She couldn't quite do it.
She couldn't do it even in the end.
Oh, wow.
So,
At least she had
yes.
that record. Never being late.
Never being late.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. Life. It's not boring, is it?
It's not boring at all. It's a lovely life, really, isn't it?
If you're
it's
open.
attitude,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
what I was going to say. Not if you're open to life.
Yeah.
Life is not boring.
And really, why should we expect life to just be hunky-dory for ourselves?
Well, that might well be boring if it was like that all of the time. We'd have no contrast. There's a lot to think upon.
Yes.
Oh, well, we are coming towards the end this morning, Anne.
Right.
Thank you for sharing your story about your best friend. It was really moving. I was moved by it, and it certainly made me reflect upon all of the important people in my life, past and present, and future, no doubt. And I hope all of you listening can reflect upon all of the important people in your life also too. And in the spirit of friendship, I hope you all feel that this morning for each other.
Yes.
Us all together this morning in one shape, form or another. You know, a sense of friendship.
Yes.
Good people who care about our world and about other people. And the world needs more of that. It really, really does.
And give that friend a ring.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. And go and say hello to your dog and give him a love from me. Yeah, I miss Henry. Henry was a dog, and he really was my best friend. I absolutely miss him every day. But I smile every time I think about him, because what a privilege, what a blessing to have the love from him, and to know him and to spend so much time with him was such. It was such a blessing. It really was. I can't explain the love. I really, really can't. I'm sure you all have an idea about it, but I cannot explain it. And I do miss him.
Yes.
But I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I had that experience. Oh, there you go. Friendship.
Yes.
And love. Wow. Well, have a wonderful rest of your bank holiday weekend, everybody. And we look forward to being with you and speaking with you again next Sunday.
And happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody. Of course, happy Easter. Life anon. Absolutely. Life victorious today and forevermore. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody, and speak to you next Sunday. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.